All right, let's record today's podcast episode. Welcome back to another Black with No Cream podcast. New episode every single Wednesday and Sunday. I'm your host, Ben Haggerty, aka Ben Real Verse World. Now, normally on Sundays, we release one-on-one interviews with industry-leading creatives, but this quarantine shit is really fucking everything up. We want to respect the social distancing rules and stay away from each other. So for the time being, we present to you our new segment called Quarantine and Chill. Each episode, I call up 3 different creative homies to see how they're holding up during this lockdown and see if we can squeeze some tips and advice out of them to give back to all of you. All right, let's stop playing this fucking song so I can get a little bit more serious and introduce today's guest. Darren, drop that beat. First up, we have Greg Noire. Greg is from Houston, Texas, and is known for his work photographing major festivals such as Coachella, ACL Festival, Lollapalooza, along with major brands and artists, and he's even toured with Childish Gambino as his personal photographer. Today, we talk about all the jobs that he had cancel on him due to the virus, how he's been killing time in quarantine, and some great tips for those who are interested in shooting festivals. Next, we have the legendary artist Kai, based out of LA. Kai's work is recognized all over the world and has collaborated with many major brands, artists, and celebrities. In this interview, he talks about the ways he's shifting his team management while quarantined, how taking his first ever vacation recently changed his perception on how he will operate as an artist moving forward. If you work in or with a team, this episode is for you. Lastly, we have director and editor Jordan Wozy, best known for directing music videos for artists like Machine Gun Kelly and the Chainsmokers. Today, we talk about the editing process behind his latest project for Kygo featuring Tyga, how he attacks his edits, and how to collaborate with clients to get the best product. Each section is about 20 minutes, so please sit back, enjoy these conversations, and if you want to support Black with No Cream podcast, please text a direct link to this episode to anyone that you think will find this shit helpful. That helps us spread the word. It means everything to us. And if this is your first time tuning into the Black with No Cream podcast, you are probably wondering,
what the fuck is Black with No Cream?
Great question. Black with No Cream is the illest educational resource for content creators fueled by caffeine. Or at least I take my coffee black with no cream, but you can drink or not drink whatever caffeine you fuck with and still be a part of our community. We have thousands of members from all around the world working together by sharing content, asking for feedback, passing tips and tricks along to one another with the goal of pushing each other to become the best motherfucking content creators on earth. And you can join our private group if you want to by going to bwnc.com/join. We would love to fucking have you. Please join. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time this has ever happened. Greg Noire blesses the Black with No Cream podcast for the first time. It's a long time in the making, dude. I'm pumped. How you feeling, bro?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me, man. Sorry this took so long, man. It's a long time coming.
I think every time you've ever came to LA, you're like, I'm here, or I see it on your Twitter, I'm here. And I'm like, yo, give me 1.5 hours. That's all I need. Hop on the podcast. We try to set it up and it never falls through. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, so that's usually my fault. The last time though, I legit had food poisoning, which is crazy.
That's totally
and I still had to work. So.
That's crazy. I think the first time we tried to do it was like right the day after I shot the first Beyonce thing at Coachella. And you were like staying nearby. We were like, yeah, let's do it. And the next day I was just like, I couldn't function.
Not happening.
Yeah, I couldn't function. Yo, but how are you, man? I know. All right. So like for people who don't know, if you were to ask me who Greg is, and when I tell people about concert photography, I say the best person that could ever do it, in my opinion, is you. All right. That's I put that shit on you. And it's funny how I found you because it was mad random through like Instagram forever ago. I met some random dude named Greg who was a photographer with like SZA. I don't know if you remember this shit. Some dude met me at Made in America.
Another dude named Greg?
Yeah, it was like some dude named Greg, and I was like, damn, I wanted to look him up and hit him up because I met him on our bus. And I messaged you, I think. I should scroll back and check, but I was like, yo, were you just with SZA? You're like, nah, I'm in Texas, but I did just shoot her somewhere or some shit. And I was like, all right. And I like followed you. So I just mistaked you. Yeah, so I followed you. But bro, your work is through the roof crazy. And I can imagine it's completely, obviously, it's everything in the festival scene, and anyone who works within the festival scene and just shooting people in general, it's completely stopped. So how's this shit been for you?
It's been kind of crazy because I legit don't know the next time I'm going to pick up my camera and do actual paid work. Like literally every single festival for the year, except for Lollapalooza, which is in August, I believe, and a few others have been canceled. And it's like every week was another one coming out back to back to back to back to back. And on top of that, besides just festivals, just like other gigs, like more, high paying things like things that like seriously pay the bills have also been nixed. And that started with South by Southwest. Man. I had about 5-6 gigs booked and just straight up canceled. And it was a really good payday.
Right.
But thank God I have a decent savings now, because if it wasn't for me actually saving and me having like a few big gigs at the front of the year, as well as some at the end of last year, then I'd be totally screwed. So Thank God for savings, because it'd be a bad situation.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. I'm so glad that and even Dave too, he was just stacking up jobs all throughout January. It was like constant work so that we could get to a good spot, and then we could focus on some Black with No Cream stuff. And when it hit, it was like, damn, man, that's the benefit of putting money away and being able to understand like the value of an emergency fund, because this is a for real emergency. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that's the key, man. Without a savings, like we'd be. Can I cuss on this?
Yeah, all day.
I can't stop myself. Oh yeah, I was watching your intro for the actual podcast. It's fucking amazing.
Oh, thank you, bro.
I was gonna tweet out like I appreciate how much you curse on it. It's amazing.
Yeah, dude. I talked to Canon the other day, and they were like, we were talking about trying to find a way to work with Black with No Cream, and the only thing she was like, yeah, there's just that one thing. And I was like, I already know. I'm cussing. She's like, yeah, it's like you say fuck in the intro, and that might, I don't know. And I'm like, you guys gotta figure it out.
It's really good.
Yeah, no, thank you, bro. So I didn't even. Yeah, well, I did think about this because when me and Dave were talking about it, we were coming up with examples and thinking about how this affects the creative community in general. For you, we do know South by Southwest, you could be shooting not just shows, but multiple showcases for brands. And those, like you're saying, those pay the,
that was most of it. That was the bulk of it was like, I don't want to name drop any
sure.
of the brands, but they were like pretty huge brands that had me booked like back to back to back to back. And then I had two music showcases, which is usually the reverse. It's usually me mostly shooting music, and then I have like a few, major events to shoot in between. But this year was totally different,
man.
But yeah, that's.
So when you started kind of noticing it, is that Blues shirt?
Oh yeah,
fire, nice.
Yeah, I wore it just for.
Were you one of the people that kept DMing him and asking him, when's it gonna ship?
No, never. No, that's the homie. I would never.
I know, right?
It was pre-orders. I was like, chill out.
Like, yeah, I saw it every day. I'm like, man, this guy's just, and he's one of those dudes that reads all the comments too. So I'm like, he's just beating himself up. Talk to him. Really but so when you started realizing it, how did you pivot? Where obviously, I don't know if you do it where you have like cancellation fees and shit like that to recoup any funds from those jobs that are lost. But I mean, we're all in the same boat. It's like, yeah, we get it. There's no. It's just canned. Everything's stopped.
I mean, that'd be a great thing to have in a contract, but for these specific ones, they're like so last minute that wasn't even something that I thought about, because I was like, I don't know that's gonna happen. Yeah. Why would yeah, exactly. But thankfully, one of the events, just they're paying the entire thing in full. Haven't received the check for that yet, but they're paying the entire fee for that show, because such like a lot of people made last minute plans for travel as well as lodging and things like that. So that's money that they can't recoup.
Right.
So they just shelled out the entire fee for everybody from production to everybody who was working the event.
Yeah,
is getting paid for that.
And I saw you.
So that's super cool.
You had tweeted something about how you've actually enjoyed like the downtime of being able to kick it with your family and relax a little bit.
I love not doing anything.
Yeah.
So being able to not do anything with my family is like the goal, because it's like wake up in the morning, do dad stuff,
right,
put them to sleep, do more dad stuff, and then it's just like do nothing with your wife.
Yeah,
she goes to sleep, and then it's just do nothing
right.
by myself.
Right.
I love I love video games. I love movies. I have my Switch right here playing Animal Crossing.
You put this. I was dying laughing. I'm like, that's every person, yo. Like I'm caught all night. I'm just like,
It's the truth, man. So it's been like me getting off a little bit of like creative ideas that I've had. Like I'm working on some merch. That's and I've been trying to do this for years. I just hadn't thought of like a cool enough idea, but I got with the homie Dewey Saunders.
I don't know.
Anyways, super talented. Look him up. I don't know if you saw me do or post that tweet, or excuse me, a post on the Instagram feed of a book that I did just for the office.
For the office.
But the logo was done by the guy I'm referring
fire.
to. Dewey.
Yeah, the logo's sick.
Yeah, and that's a portion of the bigger thing that's going to be a part of the merch. So I just purchased a bulk order for hoodies.
Oh, fine.
And so once that comes in and it's safe to like push those out and get them printed, I'm doing a few customized things to I don't want to spoil it, but it's something I'm super, super excited about. So,
well, and it's cool. It's like a cool collective thing for people who are really like fans of your work, you know?
Yeah. Hopefully, people are interested in it. I think it's a really cool design.
Yeah, they're gonna be. So then with the book too, is that because you made that as like just for your office, but are you thinking about trying to roll out some of your work in book format?
I am thinking about it. It's just like, first of all, this isn't just like, I wasn't posting that on the feed to see if people were interested in it. It was legit like, I'm so excited about this body of work, like this tangible body of work that I can hold in my hand. Right. And the way it came out was it was fucking beautiful. So I was like, I gotta show this off on the feed, not the stories, because I want people to actually view this and not disappear in 24 hours. And the feedback I got from it was just like, people are like really, really interested in it. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can take some steps to see if this is something I can actually sell. But there's so much red tape with selling images from festivals and artists, and you have to get clearances from multiple parties. So there's so much red tape that I had to clear before that can be a thing. But there's a lot of stuff that I've shot, that isn't part of the festival that I can possibly like include in that. But it would just like kind of change the entire mood of what I put together. Like the first page, I don't want to get into like that. But
I can believe it. We had to do it we just did a live stream last week with Justin Bieber's team, and it was like jumping through hoops to try to be able just to talk about a music video shoot. You know what I mean? Just to get the clearance, because it's someone like that.
Makes sense.
You're at a festival, you're dealing with not only the artist, but then the festival has their own boundaries that they try to protect and deal with and all that stuff. So I can see that. But that would be really cool if you could find a way to make it happen. Like people are going to go bananas for that. Yeah.
Waiting for a few updates, but I'm like 40% hope, like confident that it can be a thing. I'm not confident at all, actually.
Okay, I was like, 40%.
I'm just kind of
that's kind of low, man. But it'll come, man. It'll come. But you got to put in the legwork. But when you see this kind of stuff happen around you, and you realize like jobs obviously are stopping you for in no time soon, is there any events besides the Olympics in like 2022 or whatever? Other than that, like it sounds like everyone's just stopping because no one knows what's going to happen. Are you doing anything in the meantime to like kind of shift? Or are you just comfortable right now that you're kind of like, all right, let's just kind of ride this out for a couple weeks and see what they're predicting before I try to figure out like alternative ways to do my photography?
It's a shame, but I'm not being proactive at all right now. No? I've just kind of been taking this downtime to just relax. It's just been a whole relaxation moment for me. Like I'm so used to like traveling nonstop and, not being with my family for days upon sometimes weeks. Like when it's Coachella, that's like 2 weeks. When I was on tour, that was longer. So I'm kind of just been like relaxing. And I think now that it's setting in that this might be a bigger thing that once what we initially perceived, it's time to like start getting on it and see what I can do to, have at least like passive income coming in instead of just like dipping into my savings every time I got to go to the groceries and shit like that. Right. But but right now it's chill season.
Right. Yeah. Take advantage of it, man.
Until further notice.
What's the percentage of during a regular non-quarantine, non-virus life that we used to live? What would have been like percentage wise travel versus time that you're home? Because a lot of the stuff you don't shoot is like you don't shoot a lot of your stuff in Texas, do you? Like you're usually traveling out for it.
I don't get it sucks, but I don't really get work in Houston.
Right.
Like it's slim to none that I have a job here. So
was that Travis Scott event probably the only one? Was that
with Netflix? Yeah, pretty much. And every now and then an agency will reach out because Houston's becoming like a hotspot because you have like artists like Meg Thee Stallion, Travis Scott, obviously Don Toliver, and a few others that are like kind of building it up here. And like agents, and plus besides like on the music scene, Houston is the number one or number two consumer of Nike products and or Jordans.
Really?
So because of that, like, yeah, like Nike's like doing a lot of stuff here, and that's bringing other brands here because it's like bringing more exposure on the city.
Right.
But agencies are catching wind of that, and they're having more and more events here. But it's not enough. Like if I was only working, doing jobs from Houston, I would be broke, or I would just like I'd be like, I don't know, in marketing or some other shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd say sometimes it could be like an entire week or a week and a half where I'm gone, and then I come back, I'm back home for the weekend. And then in other situations, it's like weekend. So during the week, I'm like at home chilling. Right. And then the weekend, it's like, I'm gone. That's how it is mostly during festival season. But every now and then you have like a big like corporate event that I have to shoot that's during the week. And then sometimes it's like, you either can go home for a day and a half, or you can just go straight to that gig and have off days and then start the event like a few days later. Right. I usually opt to just go home for a day and a half and then shoot back out. Like I remember a few years ago, this is nuts.
Someone's calling.
Stop it! I don't.
No, it's the worst when someone calls you and your MacBook starts ringing too, like a
That's
FaceTime.
what I didn't know where it was coming from. I was like, because I have my iPad and my iMac and my so I was like, there was a situation a few years ago when very last minute I was working Coachella, and I had already been out there for 2 weeks, and I got hit up by somebody, and they're like, "Hey, we want you to shoot Fyre Festival."
Oh shit! I wish you would have gone.
I did go.
You did go? You went? I mean,
I was one of the photographers for Fyre Festival.
Oh my God.
So it was, and by the way, I was very sick because it was my first time shooting Coachella, and I wasn't prepared. Right. So I had Coachella on because I didn't have a bandana or anything like guarding the dust from my face. And I was very sick. So I shot Coachella after weekend 2, came back home just to pack a bag, and I got right back on a flight to Florida, then to the Bahamas. And it was like, first of all, my wife hated me for that. Yeah, but when she found out it was canceled, she was like,
"Oh, right." She's like, "Haha."
Yeah, that was
haha. Come home.
Karma.
Man, so did you get any of your work in any of the documentaries that came out about it? Did they use any of your
There was no work.
But I mean, like, you didn't shoot anything of like the trash shit. Like, I'd be like, damn, this is something.
So the thing, like, we were on like a separate like island from where all the bullshit was happening. We were on. So we went from a cruise ship randomly. Don't know why we were there, but we went from a cruise ship to an all-inclusive resort. Right.
All right.
So from the resort, we're supposed to have like a production meeting on the actual island. I think, if my memory serves me right, but we didn't go there at all. The production meeting or production kept getting pushed back because we weren't, like, something was happening. So they're like, okay, we can't do it today. We got to do it tomorrow. Oh, can't do it today. We got to do it the next day. And then it was like, okay, we're just going to meet up the day of, and then we'll just like go from there. And then I remember the morning.
This is hilarious that you were a part of history, man. That's history right there. Festival history. One morning, what?
But the morning of, as children of the internet, first thing we do is when we wake up in the morning is check Instagram or check Twitter. I opened up Twitter that day, and I saw that Fyre Festival was trending, and I was like, oh, people must be really excited about this. And then I hit the hashtag, and I was like, oh no,
damn,
this is bad. So
that's crazy.
So, of course, like in the group chats, like screenshots are going around. They're like, okay, it's time to meet up. And we found out that, I forgot whoever the dude was,
right?
The main guy. He pulled his card, so we had to leave immediately, and they weren't even going to pay for our flights back. We're just going to be fucked.
What?
But thank God the agency, DS Projects, they basically put the bill, and they sent us all back home. Wherever we needed to go, they pay for the flight. So Thank God for them, because if not, I mean, we would have been
man,
still be there.
That is insane, bro. Well,
Yeah.
shit. That'll never happen again. I feel like everyone's gonna do anything. I know that I almost went to what was that festival, that Woodstock? Like it was like the 50 year or whatever. The
Jay-Z was headlining that one.
Yeah, so I was supposed to go with him, and then I kept seeing the same thing happen where it'd be like investors backed out, blah blah. I'm like, yo, are we going to this anymore, or what's the deal? Like, what's up with this shit?
That lineup was crazy though.
That's why I didn't believe it. Like when someone sent it to me, I was like,
Nah.
this isn't happening. Like this, there's no way that this is gonna happen. That's crazy.
You're right.
No, so everything's pivoting. You know, you're kind of taking this time to relax. What have been some of the things that you've been doing in your downtime outside of like just the normal family to-do list and obviously no photography right now that you've been doing to kill time? Is there anything you could suggest to people that are listening to take advantage of the time with?
I think it's smart to reach out to people you've already been working with, just to make sure that, you know, just to reach out, see how they are, and let them know that you're still interested in working with them whenever this clears up. You know, maintain familiarity just so that whenever this stuff picks back up, that they won't, like, you'll be at the front of their mind.
Right.
So besides that, I think it's always smart to reach out to people you haven't worked with that you're still willing to work with or still been meaning to work with. Like back in the day, I used to make sure I hit somebody new every single day, not on some opportunistic shit, but on some like, hey, I'm super interested in working with you. Here's my body of work. How can we, you know, make something work to where like I'm either shooting a show for you or working with you on multiple events or whatever. So I used to get on LinkedIn and search for like events that I really wanted to shoot, find the contact that I wanted to work with, and then send them an email. It was damn near like a cold call, but it's like,
right.
But it's like, it's not like on some, okay, let me just throw some shit out the wall and see what sticks. It's like,
right.
I'm very passionate about shooting this specific artist or this specific event or yada, yada, yada. So I would do my due diligence and search either LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram, whatever, Google, find that contact that I needed. And I would send them an email, and it's not like a canned response type thing. It's like, hey, this is me. I'm interested in shooting X, Y, and Z. And then I would also include like the actual photos in the body of the email instead of sending them a link. That way, a lot of people, they don't read the emails, right? But if you have like beautiful images within the body, then they'll see the images first and they'll be like, oh,
what the hell?
Let me see what he's talking about.
Right.
Because if it's just words and a link, who cares?
Yeah.
But if you see images with that, then it's like, okay, let me see. This guy must be, you know, about something for real.
No, that's smooth. That's a good tactic to stay in touch and set yourself up.
But yeah, I've also been going through and editing like some photos that I totally overlooked. Like when you're shooting festivals, sometimes you're shooting like thousands of photos like per day, and you miss like some bangers because of like the speed in which you have to work at a festival. It's like, It's like go, 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 go. So I've been going through like this huge enclosure I have with, I don't know how many terabytes. It's just like a crazy amount. So I've been looking through a lot of stuff and like re-editing and editing new stuff and like just adding that to my portfolio.
That's smooth.
It's like, I don't know what else to do, man.
Yeah, right. That's a good way to kill some fucking time. Feed the people on Instagram. Is it all right? Before I know you have to get back to daddy duties. 2 questions I'm going to end this with. One is, are you going to bring back your podcast? Have you been toying around with that? Is it up?
Actually, me. So I have like a new co-host. His name's Tubo, OG Danny Ocean on Instagram and Twitter, whatever. He called me last night and he was like, hey, let's talk about this shit that's been going on. And I also had like another major topic that I want to discuss that I think most creatives are impacted by. I don't want to spoil it here, but I mean, it's nothing like super major, but it's like, I think a lot of people would get something back from the topic that I suggested to him. So we're probably going to do something like maybe next week.
Right.
Because my thing was, I record at a studio and the studio's like 45 minutes away.
Right.
So it's like, I have to make that drive and then yada, yada, yada. So with this, I think this quarantine has let me be more comfortable with it doesn't have to be perfect if you have like a message to get out. Right. So like, I appreciate you doing this. Like usually you have people coming to the studio, but you know, reaching out to other creators like myself to do this and like spread the message is a beautiful thing. So this is kind of like, I was talking to Tubo yesterday about doing the show today, and he was like, we should do the podcast.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Like there's I mean, this I don't
people
know,
are bored, bro. They want to consume. They need it.
Yeah, look at all those lives going on. People are super bored.
It's crazy. I know. I was just watching Tory Lanez again right before this started, bro. He is a beast with this shit. 300 and some thousand people watching his stream yesterday. I'm like, that's unreal. All right,
is that the one with Drake on it?
Yeah, Drake popped in and went all the way up to 300K. I was like, holy shit.
I didn't watch that.
I know. All right, but when we leave this, so for people who are, getting into photography and have the opportunity to shoot at a festival or shoot for like a corporate event, what's some of the like tips or tactics you could leave them to make a great impression, not only on the client, but to kill the day, making sure they cover everything?
That's a good question. I'd say a lot of times you go into like a photo pit and like the first thing that hits you is intimidation because you see all these other guys who are seasoned, and sometimes photographers they're just dicks. I don't know what it is. They're just naturally assholes. So I think if you go into with the mentality of I'm just going to focus on the subject and not worry about anything else, that'll help you a lot. And on top of that, social distancing inside of a photo pit is kind of the key thing, because when you're inside of a photo pit, most of the people, they gravitate to one side of the photo pit because that's where, like, this is where the best lighting is, or yada, yada, yada. Right. And then you'll see like 20 photographers on one side, and then the other side is just completely open.
Right.
I say always go to the side where nobody is, because eventually that performer is going to run to the other side of the stage, and you're going to be the only person in the photo pit with that shot.
Right.
So, and then they're going to be running towards you when that person jumps off the stage and into the photo pit, and you're the only person there with that shot. So,
right.
And also just be a good person to work with. Like, leave your ego at the door, because a lot of the time, festivals and artists and whoever, event coordinators, production, they'll take the most pleasant person to work with over the most talented. So don't go in there thinking you're the shit. Right. Just go in there, do the work, be kind, generous, and you'll get rebooked for that event.
Right.
I think that's number one. Just don't be a dick.
Right. I love that.
That's the key to life. It's a golden rule.
Love that. No, that's great, man. I think we were when it was when I was there with B, SZA played the night before. I think.
Who's B?
Beyonce. You heard about her from that H-Town. It's when we were there the day before, I think SZA played, and so I was in the pit for that, but I literally wasn't planning on it, so I just had like my A7S II and like a 16-35, so the worst lens to have in a pit. But I was like, I'm just gonna get one shot and find a way to make it work. I think I snuck up into the thing and got a shot. But you were there shooting that, weren't you? Do you remember?
Wait, which set was
SZA?
SZA when
Coachella.
Did she bring out Kendrick? This is at Coachella?
Yeah, it's Coachella.
Oh, she brought out Kendrick. Yeah,
but I think I remember you going, because the setting was really dope with the lighting and shit. I remember watching you, because I was just kind of chilling in, and I saw you go, there'd be like a mob in the center, and then you'd be dipping out to the right, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I did the same thing too, because I was like, all right, cool, he figures this shit out. Because when they do run over, it is the rarity of like, some artists favor a specific spot of the stage. Like they just naturally go, you naturally write with your right hand, you leave this one empty. So it's like when they do go left, sometimes they bring up their energy 10 times because they realize they haven't talked to these fans for a second. You know what I mean? So you do stand to like capture some really cool shit when you spread yourself out. But yeah, some of those photographers just post up, never want to move. They earn that center spot. This is my spot. Don't touch me.
It's so annoying, man. The most annoying thing is like, when that performer jumps out to the photo pit and they're going out and touching hands, photographers, they'll run after them. And I found out that it's better to like kind of like hug the rail and just wait for them to come back instead of following them all the way back. Right. You got to realize that they have to come back to the stage. Yeah. So if you just kind of like dip and like kind of hug the rail, you can just get them running back. Like you can get hands, like the artist touching hands and all that good stuff. And shooting from a low perspective is an even better shot. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to run after them and get tackled by security. You can just stay in one spot and wait for them to come back.
No, I love that. Bro, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on this
appreciate
quarantine
you, man.
chill
This was
segment,
awesome.
man. Yeah, this was fun.
I need to get in the studio whenever this is all.
Please, everyone's hearing it right now, okay? He made a promise. He'll be here. Damn, I've heard it a million times. When's Greg getting on the podcast? I'm like, fuck, I don't know. No, we appreciate you, bro. Stay healthy and all that.
All right, man. Take care, dude.
Shout out to Greg for coming on the podcast today. We appreciate you, bro. All of the links to follow him are going to be in the description below, so make sure to click that. Throw him a follow. Show him some love. I want to say Kai's episode's next. We did have a lot of weird technical issues. We could not dial it in. First, it was like his AirPods, and then we finally fixed that, and then there was just a bunch of noise. So like the first few minutes are kind of like got this stupid sound to it that we fought through, and then we ended up switching to his computer mic instead, so it gets a little bit better. So sorry for all the noises. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong in this one, but regardless, Kai says some fire shit, so it's worth sitting through. All right, cool. Let's get into Kai's episode right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now live with Kai. You like that?
Yeah, it's good.
How you doing, dog?
Good. And you? How's everything?
Everything is just nice and peachy. We switched up the way we've been doing this podcast. Normally it's on Sunday we do long interviews, and now we're doing these little bite-sized conversations with my friends. So I'm excited to have you on here because I haven't talked to an artist like you yet. It's been a lot of video, photography, directing type shit, but I think it'd be interesting to talk to you about stuff. Honestly, I gotta tell you right now, anytime someone asks me what my favorite Black with No Cream interview I've ever done was, I tell them it's your interview.
Thank you, man. That's awesome.
Your story, start to finish, is fucking unreal. And I highly suggest, if you haven't heard it, anyone that's listening to this, you check it out right now. But yo, how have you been? Like, how's all this COVID shit been like affecting you? I think, are you at your house right now, or is this at your office?
Yes, I'm home. Actually, I moved out of my personal house and I moved in with my parents.
Oh, nice.
We decided as a family it was better for all of us to be together on lockdown than for us to be apart.
Right.
So I literally closed the studio, packed a big suitcase from my personal house, and then moved in back with my parents. So it's like a reverse effect on my whole life is happening.
So you're just back with the squad. So your office is still there, and then you still have your house, and you're just quarantining with your family.
Yeah.
Nice. That's dope. Has it been different having to adjust being around the fam that often?
Yeah, it's super different. You get used to the solidarity and the way of living independently, and then when you move back, it's as if I don't have a door. Like, my dad comes in every like couple minutes, my mom, my sister. It's like,
right.
I made a joke. Yeah. I keep making a joke like I should put a doorbell on the door to see what happens.
Right. Is it with this quarantine, bro? All right, like you do a majority of your work. You have an office space, like a really cool office space, somewhere in LA, and you do a majority of your work and building and designing, and you have your team there. And then you're also spend a majority of your time out in the streets, and you're doing murals and you're traveling and doing installations. Like you did, you guys, the Rolling Loud one was amazing. I got to go to the LA Rolling Loud and see it in person. That thing was massive, bro.
Yeah, it's everything that we're used to doing is different. So I'm used to going into the studio. I have 5 guys that work there full time. I'm used to working on paintings, working on designs. We have like a little office where everyone works together. And this has kind of really been, for my industry, I think my industry is going to get hit the hardest for 2 reasons. One, the way that I work as an artist, everyone's under one roof. I supervise everything. I'm on top of everything. And because of that reason, I can do multiple projects at the same time. So I could do a Rolling Loud and then an art show, and then have video content, then do a mural for fun, then do a Justin Bieber music video. Like, I can do all these different things because everyone's under one roof, and we can expedite things that usually take 4 or 5 days with other people. I can do it in like 12 hours most of the time. Like, we got less than a 24-hour notice when we did the Justin Bieber thing.
God, so, really?
Yeah.
You guys put in work on that one. The video turned out crazy. And that's a huge piece.
Yeah, it's 26 feet tall by 18 feet wide. So because it's such a small knit group and everyone's under one roof, I can kind of make sure that the team is working on certain things at certain times and expedite what usually would take a long time.
Right.
So I've lost that ability. I've lost the ability to expedite things across all different mediums. So I used to be able to do a mural, a couple paintings, video, all this different stuff in 1 week. Now I have to pick 1 or 2 projects and really concentrate on them.
Yeah, I feel like it's got to be tough for your team too to try to have the normal communication that you guys usually have by being able to see hands-on. Like what I know you talked about, we're using Zoom right now. The connection's been pretty trash today. We've had some struggles. Hopefully it's a little bit better right now. But you talked about how you had like a meeting with your entire team this morning on Zoom. So you guys are using Zoom calls to like stay in touch and kind of keep the pace moving.
So all the guys that help me physically, I've had to tell them to stay home.
Yeah.
And I'm paying them even though we're not working. And that's just me trying to be, a person in these hard times.
Right.
So that was just a decision that I sat down with my team. So I sat down with the whole team. So there's guys that work on computers and there's guys that work physically. And I sat down with the guys and I said, look, this is going to hit hard. I have intel from our partners in China that we've worked with, and they're telling me we should close. And they're warning me that what's happening right now in China is going to happen in the US, that we should be ready for it when it comes, and that we have to be careful because it doesn't just affect elderly people, it also affects people. It affects people of all ages.
Right.
So I called my family. I let them know, like, this is going to be something serious. We need to figure out what we want to do. My dad is quote unquote a high risk person, and my brother is mid-level to high risk as well.
Damn.
So it was like a family thing. We decided that we're going to start like quote unquote quarantining before most people even thought about it. Like we started doing it about 5 days before California shut down.
Holy shit.
So I had to have a meeting with my team and say, look, this is about to get really real. There's like, I think at the time there was like 8 or 15 cases in the US. But I had intel from my guys in China at Yoo-Hoo telling me like, yo, this is serious.
Right.
So I said, look, right now it doesn't seem serious. And people are like, kind of like, oh, it's just Corona. But we need to have a conversation because I'm going to close the studio to keep you guys safe and to keep my family safe and your family safe. Because the studio is a place where we work, but it's also a place where people come to see me.
Right. Like collaboration. I mean.
Not only collaboration, like clients come, celebrities come. Right. And celebrities are like the worst people you could see right now. Because they're in contact with so many people that like they high five people, they pose for pictures. So I knew that we're going to have a lot of celebrities coming by, and we had that week before we closed, we had 2 of the biggest tennis players in the world stop by, Stan Wawrinka and Gad Monfils. And they were also telling me like, look, they're thinking about canceling our tournament.
Damn.
So when they officially canceled the tennis tournament, I closed the shop. So we had a conversation with the team, and I found ways to keep people afloat while all of this is happening. That was like my main goal. It was like, how can I make sure that you won't be out in the street? How can I make sure that you're going to have food and shelter and the heat on? And so that was my main goal, and we've accomplished it. But luckily, I have part of my team that's digital, that works on the digital side with me, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, our website, our AR stuff, we have a bunch of different like computer digital things that we work on. Right. So they've been able to like kind of stay almost fully working, but it's not the same feeling.
Right. I feel like ultimately it's a decision. It's a tough decision to make. My girlfriend had to do it with the beauty industry. Like she doesn't want to have clients come in. She works out of our house. So it's like, do we stop having clients come into the house? It was super early. Like it's a tough decision to make. Cause money stops, you know what I mean? For a lot of people, and the wheelhouse stops. All right. So we're back now. Sorry. I just had Kai get rid of his AirPods because for some reason, I don't know what was going on. We're just losing the connection. Just sounded so like muffled.
This is a really bad AirPod commercial.
It is a bad AirPod commercial, and I'm a champion for AirPods, bro. All right, so you make this tough decision, and so now you're working from home. Luckily, you have the digital side of things. So have you been working a lot more? And when you say digital, could you kind of like go into like kind of the projects you've been working on as of quarantined time? You know what I mean? Like what have been some of the stuff you've been focusing on?
Luckily, I was already, right before all of this happened, I was taking a little change in direction. After Art Basel 2019, I decided that I don't want to work as tirelessly, I guess that's the right way to say it. Like, you know me pretty well. Like, I'm never not working. Like, I'm always on one project to the next project, bouncing around. Like,
right.
And I'm always burnt out. I'm always on the plane. I'm always like, I have a house. I don't spend enough time. Like, there's a joke, like a bunch of my friends have. It's like, why do you have a house? You're never home.
Just always at the shop or in a hotel.
Yeah, shop, hotel, or on a wall somewhere. Like, so I kind of went on my first little vacation, and it was my first vacation ever, my entire life.
Where'd you go?
Secret location.
But in the States, or you left the country?
No, I'm not far. I'm really far away.
Oh, really?
I went to a place that there's no internet, there's no cell phone service, there's no electricity, there's nothing. There's just a few people, a barbecue, some fish, some vegetables, and that's it.
Fire.
And the whole concept of it was to get away from everything. It was to kind of clear my mind, because for the last 11 years, it's been nonstop.
Right. Nah, did the reset change your perspective on your day-to-day grind?
So it actually made me super paranoid, because it made me realize that when I first started, I was a singular thing. And as I grew, I started involving more people and built a huge team.
Right.
And when I was away, I started to think like, why do I need to work so hard? Like, why am I going so hard? It's part of it is ambition. Like, I want to be the best artist in the world. I want to be the greatest artist that ever lived. And secondly, it was like, well, he's counting on this paycheck, and they're counting on this money to pay their rent, and they need this to do this. Oh, the mortgage, and the this, and the that, and rent, and food, and I was like, okay, well, if all that stresses me out, let's find a way to scale back. And it's hard to scale back because I'm ambitious. So it's like trying to find that fine line of having enough people around you, surrounding you, and motivating you and pushing you forward. And then there's the other side where you have so much going on that it's a dead weight and you can't really do what you want to do.
Right.
So I came back from the vacation. I turned on my phone and I had like 180 different text messages, 300 WhatsApps. I had 99 emails. No, 999 emails. Like, it was like 9999. Like, and I was just like, it's crazy to like get off a plane and be bum rushed with so much stuff.
Right.
And I made a decision that I was going to do less in quantity and less in quantity, and take my time and do 3 or 4 huge projects.
Right.
Where I, like, from start to finish, everything is really like tailored and like looked after and thought through and built out, and concepts, and kind of like when you go to the theater, I decided I'm going to build art shows, like the way people go to the movie theater, like the way people go to like a show.
Right.
I want to build like a real art show.
Damn.
So I started doing that in January, and then I started hearing of Corona. And
you're like, fuck.
And I was like, fuck, my concept might not work for a little bit, but this is great. This gives me the time to work on what the new style is going to look like, what the new vibe of these shows is going to be like. If I'm going to study, because to continue to make art and to continue to be creative, you need to take time to do research and to relight a spark.
Mm-hmm.
And I never understood that until recently. Like, I always hear people like, oh, why didn't you release an album? Like, when you hear about like Kanye's first album, and then you hear Kanye's second and third, you're like, why did it take so long to go from your first to your third, or first to second to third, or Justin Bieber, or Rihanna, all of these, like,
yeah,
because you're lacking experiences outside of music, or outside of art, or outside of directing, or outside to put in to your work.
Right.
All your experiences are based on what you're working on.
I love that.
So how can you have a new way of working, and a new style, and new outlook on things if the only thing you're doing is working at the old stuff, and constantly working on the old stuff?
Is it for you? It's like kicking a habit, right? Like, we get into the habits form for multiple reasons. For you, it's the love of making art. You also want to be able to push the boundaries of the art that you're making. You also have a team to support, which weighs on your conscience. But there is ways, I think, and you're discovering them, but it's hard to kick that habit of the adrenaline and the being a junkie of like constant grind, to find an alternative way that can still complete the same goal. You just might not have the crazier output that you used to have, but the whole team could still find a way to be supported through this. Obviously, we'd be able to see if it's working in real time if the coronavirus wasn't here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
that being said, the coronavirus can help me out, because when you have a team, you have two jobs. You have the job of, you need to be the leader, you need to create, you need to come up with new ideas, you need to come up with new concepts, new designs, new ideas, all of that. Then you have the second job, which is, you need to literally, are they clocked in? Are they doing their work? What are they working on? And when you do all of that, when you're like constantly behind everyone, you don't have enough time in the day to go back to being creative.
right. Yeah.
So this is me looking at the bright side of things, because I think that's the only way to get through these kind of times. Is I found the bright side. I found that, hey, I'm going to take the time. I'm going to be a little bit more creative. I'm going to find the time to do research on new materials, do research on new styles of work. And I'm really going to push my boundaries now that I don't have to be constantly worrying about, what is he doing today? Is he really doing his job? Did he really get there at 9 a.m.? Did he leave at 5? Is he on the phone? And like, there's so many people that I have to like keep like manage or take care of.
Right.
That sometimes you don't have enough time to like sit down and sketch, sit down and draw, sit down and so yeah, I didn't realize that, because part of your job when you have a big team is making sure your team has something to do.
Right. That's on you.
Yeah. And since you're the boss, you got to make sure everyone has something to do. So this is the opposite. This is like, you're at home, people who can work from home, here's an email list of things that you can do for me today. Get it done. Shoot me updates whenever you get a chance. I cannot police you. Like, I physically cannot be in your house making sure you're working.
Right.
I can't be in your house making sure you're not like walking around in your underwear watching TV. And you know what I mean? Just trust. It's like, I trust you, and I know how my team is, and I know that when they're designing, let's say they're designing packaging for our next release, I know that it's going to take 6 hours, 7 hours. It shouldn't take 3 days. If it takes 3 days, there's we have to have a conversation about it. But it's also understanding that people are at home and they're not motivated.
Right. Yeah.
Like, how many people are motivated to, like, you wake up, your office or wherever you're working is 5 feet, 10 feet, one room away. Like, you don't have to get in the car. Getting in the car going to work is annoying, but it also creates a mindset, like, when work.
Yeah. It's like a mental shift for you to understand, like, all right, cool, I'm clocking in mentally, I'm clocking in, I'm physically there. I have something to own up to when I get there.
Yeah, and it's not anything wrong with that, because I think that the guys that work with me are really happy when they clock in. But it is a mental shift for them. It's not like, hey, I can go to the market, or hey, let me check on my DMV paperwork, or let me see what's happening on the news, or there's no distractions at work. It's like we work, we're creative, we have fun, we bounce ideas off each other. It's not like, hey, I didn't do the dishes last night. They're 5 feet away. Let me just do them real quick.
Yeah, that's true. Damn, that's such an interesting paradox of like balancing that and then having to make the shift here. But I think that there's something to show, especially when there's a team and when you're trying to re-envision your future and come up with a new plan that's going to make you more sane and enjoy yourself a little bit more, especially after this vacation. It's like, this kind of will show the people that are going to go above and beyond to find a way to make it work for the team. And I think that's applicable for everybody.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think that I'm lucky I have an amazing team. And the first 3 or 4 days, it was like weird. It's like, how do we do this? And then I started asking friends around, and I know a lot of studios that completely shut down. They're like, I sent everyone home. No one's working. There's no pay. There's no nothing. Or other people are like, I sent everyone home. I'm giving them like a fraction of what they usually make so that they can buy food, but there's no work, there's no money. And I'm lucky I had a team that first understood, like, I'm trying to help them and I want to help them through these tough times. And secondly, you got to let me find my footing in this really weird time. And they gave me a few days, and at first we didn't know how to do it. We didn't know the routine. We didn't know how to like communicate with each other. We didn't know. And someone recommended, like, you should do morning meetings. And I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to do a meeting with people?
Right.
No one's near each other. And someone's like, you should use Zoom. So I got Zoom, and then I told the team about Zoom, and they're like, but it's not free. I'm like, it is free for the first 40 minutes.
Right.
I'll resend it. If we go longer, then we'll go longer. And we have a good routine. Like, every morning we get up, I let everyone do their own thing. Usually we used to start at 9 in the studio, in the physical studio. I'm saying, hey guys, start at 10.
Right.
Because I know being at home, you're up later now. Like, you get in these weird habits because you're home for so long.
Yeah.
And you're like, 3 o'clock in the morning? Oh, that's still early. Like,
right.
I don't have to get up and go to work. And then you wake up and say, like, fuck, I gotta go. I still have to work. So we do like a 10 a.m. Zoom meeting. And instead of how it was in the studio where we were doing meetings and working at the same time, like, we'd sit and like kind of be working on it at the same time. We really do a meeting with no one working. It's just talking. It's just, this is my concept. This is my idea. Oh, I can help you like this, like this. Oh, another guy will say, how about I jump on this side and you take care of this? And we really strategize what each other's going to do so that we don't have to talk again for a few hours, because now everyone's working on their piece of the puzzle.
Right.
And then we have a second Zoom meeting, or we talk one-on-one with, let's say, Matthew, someone I work really close with all the time. Me and Matthew are designing something. We decided in the group meeting that Matthew's going to help me convert it into vectors. So, and Ray said, I'm going to work on the AR stuff that we're working on. Awesome. Right. We break up. But now Matthew needs my input on the Illustrator vector file. So he'll call me one-on-one and say, look, I've gotten this far. Do you like this? Do you not like this? Oh, let's change this. Let's change that. But Ray's still working on the AR by himself. So
you're constantly balancing like multiple people's schedules. That's really the power of efficiency. But I think what you're describing is some good methods for group building and for ways to like kind of get through this time immediately. Obviously, I'm assuming you're going to continue to tweak and better your process and find new ways to make it even easier, you know?
Yeah, we also started a Dropbox, like a group Dropbox. Like, everyone has a login and password.
Yeah.
And it's the free one. It's the individual one. That's a 2 terabytes, the free one. And we made an email up and we made a password up, and I gave it to everyone. And I said, everyone log into it on their computer.
Right.
like, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I'm like, let's try. If it doesn't work, I'll pay.
Right.
And it works.
Yeah.
Everyone can log into it. And we're constantly uploading files or uploading video or uploading pictures of what we're working on. And the way the Dropbox works is, I don't know if this was a setting that someone fixed on my team or it just happened to be it. The most recently uploaded files show up on the first page.
Got it.
So we have a group text, and it's like, I just uploaded the image of what I'm working on, and then everyone on the whole team can see it because it's on this Dropbox.
Yeah, that's fire.
So I have a tab that's open all day, and I just refresh it like every 45 hour and a half to see what everyone's working on.
That's good. That's cool that you've. Yeah, I feel like that's a solid system to start with, and then that can build out your productivity. But I also still see right now just what you're describing, and you having to micromanage and make sure you're multitasking. Like we deal with it here at the podcast. There's always things that we're trying to juggle, and there's so many things that you have your hands on the project, and you have to be really hands on and be able to communicate all the time, and it becomes distracting. Like if you really just wanted to sit down and sketch, and then all of a sudden you're ping, and you see your Dropbox folder has some new shit, and then a phone call comes in from the homie and he's asking you questions, but there's so much shit that can pull you and distract you away from that. It's so tough.
So, but now imagine I've cut off half the distractions, because now I just have like the Dropbox folder, the Zoom calls, and the cell phone. Before I had the Dropbox folder, the face-to-face conversations, the cell phone, the tools, the people stopping at the studio, celebrities. And now there's hundreds of projects that I was working on that have been paused.
Right.
So now I get to like sit down, and I get to sketch, and I get to design, and I get to just like brainstorm and kind of say, okay, if we were planning to do a show in September, well, is September still going to be a good time? Is it not going to be a good time?
Right.
Do we still build out the show as if September is good? And if it has to be postponed, do we postpone it? Or do we dead the show, come up with a new concept that's more of a summer concept, not an autumn concept? And just constantly thinking and building and thinking and building. And then there's ideas that come directly from COVID. Like I don't know if you saw my post a couple days ago.
I loved it.
About the heroes.
Yeah, I loved it. I posted on my story.
So when I did it, when at first I was working on it, everyone on my team was like, yo, that's genius. How'd you come up with it? I'm like, literally the news is playing all day, and the only people that seem to be doing anything are these people.
Right.
I left a couple people out, and I'm sorry, I left out the farmers and delivery drivers and a couple people, but I was really trying to focus on the people who are most likely going to get COVID from face-to-face contact with people.
Right.
Like the market people are like, it's huge. Like every day they're in there, they're working, they're being exposed to thousands and thousands of people when they could be at home like the rest of us.
It's insane, man. I know.
And they get paid minimum wage, and every other time period in life we're like, oh, you work at a market, like that's like your first job when you're 16.
Yeah. Like
I'm gonna go work at the market, like, minimum wage. Those people are literally the only people that are there working and trying to make, like they're keeping all of us comfortable and fed. Janitors too, like everyone always looks down upon like being a janitor and like cleaning, and without them it'd be a million times worse.
Right.
They're cleaning, they're making sure everything's disinfected, everything's done the right way. And then of course like doctors are like really stepping up, working crazy shifts. Nurses I feel the most for is because they know their chances of getting sick is exponentially higher than everyone else. Mm-hmm. Because doctors see a patient for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, but the nurse is constantly handling, checking blood pressure, this, that, monitoring. They're really in contact with them 24/7.
No, I love the piece, man, because obviously it's a representation of the frontline people. That's crazy if people are giving you backlash for United.
That's part of it. There's always
someone talking shit, but like it means I think it's powerful, bro. It's like and that's crazy that obviously we don't think about these people every day. You know what I mean? And this is forcing us to point a spotlight on those people.
Yeah, and I've decided to try and help these people and try and help everyone out. I've decided I'm going to make a print of that image and donate 100% of the proceeds.
Hell yeah.
To a charity.
That's sick.
I'm not sure which charity. I've been doing research and trying to find which one I want to really connect to and be a part of.
Right.
But I think I want to go with something that gives PPE to nurses.
Dope. Yeah, that's
impressive. PPE, right? Yeah, personal protective equipment.
The gear. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's what we're going to do. We're just trying to find the right charity. But that's the idea, is to usually my prints sell out in a minute, 50 seconds, like crazy.
Right.
So I said, why not do one and give everything away to help these people who are really fighting for me? Like, they're fighting for me to go have a city to go back to, a world to enjoy.
I love that.
So that's the goal.
When do you know when you're going to drop that?
So we're trying to figure out all the logistics, because like everyone knows everything's shut down and closed.
Right.
But hopefully like within the next 7 days.
Cool.
All right, it's kind of a surprise drop, because as I find information out, I wanted to put it out yesterday, and then I want to put it out today, and I want to put it out tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But every day, every time I tackle one obstacle, something else comes up.
Yeah.
So, but that was like a project that came directly from dealing with the situation. It's a project that I didn't have on the radar. I didn't know I was going to do, and because everyone's going through this, I said, why not add something for everyone to work on in my team, but also find a way to help everyone through
it. Yeah. Nah, I love that, man. That's honorable. I'm excited. Everyone make sure you follow Kai on Instagram and pay attention for when you make that little, announcement that it's out there, because scoop this shit up.
And it's a cool way for people to finally get a piece of art and hang it up, and they know that they're helping.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's going on.
Bro, I don't want to keep you too long, and also I'm sporting your fucking hoodie.
That's dope.
People ask me about this shit all the time, all the time. Like, yo, you have paint on your hoodie? And I describe it to them, like, oh, that's really cool. I'm like, yeah, man, this shit's my favorite thing. All right, last question.
Yeah.
Outside of work, what are some of the things you're doing to kill time at home? Anything you could recommend to somebody out there listening?
So there's a lot. Luckily, I'm like I said, I've been studying a lot, so I've been doing a lot of this is what I've been telling everyone, all my friends, everyone. I tell everyone, learn something new. This is a perfect time to learn something. And the difference between what we have today and what happened during the Spanish flu, we have this tool called the internet, and it can teach you anything you want in the entire world.
Facts.
And I'm sure someone listening, or whoever's listening, you've always wanted to learn how to do something as simple as cook your favorite dish, or learn a new language, or read a different language, or fix a car, or change a tire, or give yourself a goal to learn something new every day. Even if it's a workout regimen, let me learn how to do squats, or let me learn how to do lunges, or let me learn, I want bigger shoulders, let me find a workout that works with my shoulders.
Right.
Just take an hour or two a day and put it aside and learn something. Because you're going to get tired of watching TV, and you're going to get tired of watching Netflix and scrolling through YouTube. And we're used to content coming so quick. Content has been paused, guys.
Yeah, that's
we're at 10% of content creation that we're used to right now.
Yeah,
studios are closed. Everything's closed. TV, no one's filming anything new. There will be a time when there's nothing new to watch.
Right. Yeah. I love it.
So take time to learn something. Take the time to give yourself knowledge in a field that you were always dreaming of working in. And if you had a job that you hated and you're like, I wish I could be a tattooer, great. Right. This is a perfect time for you to really dive into what it takes to be a tattooer. Or, hey, I've always wanted to be a singer, great. Right. Take vocal classes through YouTube. Hey, I've always wanted to become a painter, great. Get some painting supplies. You can get them at Home Depot. You can get painting supplies anywhere. People are always like, well, how can I get these things? There's always an alternative. And luckily, everything is not fully shut down. You still have certain stores that are open. You can find, when there's a will, there's a way. So take the time to learn something. Take the time to expand your horizons. I've been personally learning how to digest heavy duty books. Because I always hear about all these Like you hear Bill Gates reads like PhD theses and all that. I'm like, okay, how does that work?
Right.
So I've been every like day I take like, I don't even take 2 hours, but I take like 15 minutes and I try and read a paragraph and I try and understand it. And I'm like, why don't I understand this? Well, I don't understand this because I don't understand what this thesis is based on. So now I got to go backwards.
Right.
It's based on quantum physics. Now I got to understand quantum physics. And quantum physics is based on blah, blah, blah. I got to learn that. So I'm learning to learn.
I love it.
Weird to say.
No, I love that, bro. Yo, I love it. I think there's a lot of things people learn from this episode, and the way you guys are adjusting your team is honorable and obviously something a lot of people have to consider. So I appreciate you getting on here and sharing that information with us, dude.
Anytime, man. And let me know if you want to do it again.
Hell yeah.
What's gonna look like?
Yeah, we'll make sure we'll figure out this audio shit next time.
Yeah.
All right, I'll put links to your shit in the description. Everyone, make sure to check out that drop. Anything else you want to leave the people?
Yeah, just don't worry. We're gonna get through it. We've gotten through crazy times. We're gonna get through these times. Just be grateful and thankful that you're safe and healthy right now, and thank the people who are letting you be this comfortable.
Hell yeah. All right. Thanks, dog.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to you later.
That's it for Kai. Thank you, Kai, for coming on the podcast, bro. You're a fucking G. Your art is unreal. Everyone throw him a follow as well. Links are in the description below. If you guys are enjoying these podcast episodes so far, the quarantine and chill section, we're really interested to hear about that. Hop on YouTube, go to this video, try to find the video on YouTube. If you're just an audio only person, shout out to you. And let us know in the comment section. Like, just drop a comment. Let us know what you love, any of your takeaways that you're getting from these episodes. We hope that you find them really educational. And thank you for listening again. Lastly, let's get to Jordan's episode right now. All right, we live, man. How you feeling?
Feeling good.
Are you feeling good? Feeling healthy?
I think so.
Yeah, I know.
It's allergy season.
It's been like, damn, when did we do the podcast? Was that over a year ago?
Dude, that was like right after I did, I think that was around this time last year, actually.
That's insane.
Because today is the anniversary of Nipsey's death.
Right.
And that was the same day we shot Kels's Hotel Diablo promos.
Oh, really?
And we shot those promos, we shot those promos here, and then we shot the Chainsmoker video before that. So yeah,
damn.
That was like a while ago.
What was that like when you guys were shooting the promo? So MGK, you're shooting the promo for his album, like the cover art and all those videos, the series, like the.
It was just like the little promo videos that we did for the album. So it was like, like the one where he's on the bed and
like the vignettes.
Yeah, like the little vignettes and stuff. Yeah.
What was that like when you guys heard about?
That whole day was surreal, man. Just like it was. You could feel like the city quiet. They got really quiet, you know, like because we were actually shot up in like these apartments in downtown LA, and so like you could just feel the city and the energy. It was wild, but we had to keep going with what we had planned. And later that night, actually, we ended up seeing a car accident. So it was a wild day. Yeah.
God damn.
It was a wild day.
Yeah, I remember we were. I think I was had just got off tour. We just got done traveling somewhere. So me, Lauren, Dave, and our editor Nico, we went to the beach and we were like there, and we like all fell asleep in the sand. And then I wook up and someone got the thing, and it was like, "Yo, Nipsey Hussle just got killed." I'm like, "What?" That shit rattled everything in music.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Was a crazy day.
Well, damn. Starting off on something dope. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle, man. That's crazy. But so since then, what have you been up to? Like, I think if we kind of catch you up right now, like as far as like career wise, what you've been doing, because at that point you had just directed the Chainsmokers music videos. Was it two?
Yeah.
One video?
Just one.
One music video for them. You've done a lot of MGK stuff. What have you been up to since then?
Since then, I mean, I had 2 tours I went on with Kels. It was a US run and a Europe run. Just finished touring for a good amount of time. I don't know.
Taking some time off.
Yeah, hanging up the cameras for a while.
Right.
But I stopped that last September, and then September to now was mainly just music videos and stuff like that with, Under Wonder and stuff like that. And, got to go to Tokyo and shoot a video that was for this group called New Hope Club. Yeah.
That's dope.
I went out there with Frank and we shot that, and that was an experience. I actually got to enjoy Tokyo for a couple of days and then get to run around the city. which
That's
was
sick.
amazing. Yeah,
How was it? You were directing that?
Yeah.
How was it directing in somewhere like Tokyo? Like working with a crew from Tokyo. I'm imagining it's a little bit different. Like,
yeah, it was. They could speak so the only Americans were Frank and I. Frank was the DP as well as like producing, and the whole crew was Japanese. So it was like they could speak English, but at the same time there is a language barrier with like certain words and certain things like that. And
right.
so you'd be like, we're gonna move these lights. They would move all the lights, or like so it's like you really had to kind of like be like this goes here and be a little bit more direct with like what you're saying. And
it's like being descriptive, I guess.
Yeah, and the band was British, so like they speak English, which was great. And then the extras that we had, the 3 girls were all Japanese, and only one could really speak good English. And then our producer was actually our translator.
Wow,
so
that's insane. That's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah, shooting overseas is definitely a trip, like, and having to like kind of adjust to the culture and the way they work, obviously, because you're on their turf.
Yeah,
that's dope.
And it was, so that was a amazing experience. And then come back, done videos here and there, a bunch of edits, stuff for Andrew, stuff like that. So,
are you repped by Underwonder then? Do they do that? That's like what they're doing is repping people, because I know Andrew's repped by them, you're repped by them. Frank's gonna get on the podcast eventually whenever this quarantine shit's over with, which would be dope. So that dude's a legend. So signing with them, have you? Because I think in the last podcast, what we were talking about was you trying to venture out of like this day-to-day lifestyle content with like being on tour and things like that, but to grow into the directing role. Do you feel like it's been going well?
Yeah, it's definitely a different beast in terms of just like establishing myself, and you got to get the labels trust. You have to get the video commissioners trust. And once you start to do that, things get, better and better. Like I had an opportunity where I was the creative director and editor for the Alesso video that Andrew did.
Oh, right.
And I actually went to set and was able to get a relationship built with that commissioner. And then the next time a video came around, they knew who I was. And so they trusted that I was going to be able to pull it off.
Right.
Which is great. So it's just, that's mainly been the thing right now, is getting the trust and having the connections to kind of get my foot in the door.
Right. Yeah. And those stepping stones, like you putting in the work on different jobs, like those ultimately lead to the top. That's interesting. How is this, like, the quarantine shit affected you? I guess we talked off camera, you've been editing a lot.
I got lucky with some edits at the beginning, but I just finished them up last week, and so now it's just kind of figuring it out. I have an opportunity to potentially creative direct this brand new artist, which is dope. So I've been working on decks and treatments for her and stuff like that, and
that's cool.
So that's a cool opportunity, but granted, we're not actually shooting anything or doing anything right now. It's just the working steps, and then we've written treatments here and there, and I think labels don't really know what to do right now.
I know, dude.
And nobody really knows what to do right now, because you can't even get permits to shoot. So
right, yeah. So it's got to be run and gun style and small squads, I guess. Because I've had a couple of friends that have been going out and shooting, and I'm like, who's like making it okay to do it? You know what I mean? Because it's not black and white, because the rules are just kind of like, please do this. We all have to do this, but then no one knows what they're able to do. But a lot of freelancers, I feel like, are gonna, watch in the next like 15, 20 days, right now it's the 31st of March. So we got extended to what, the 30th? So extend it till the 30th. People are gonna start hurting from bread, bro. And if they're not supported for whatever reason, if they're flying under the radar, or they didn't submit their taxes, or didn't have a job, a lot of the freelance industry is like gonna be disrupted by this. And then I feel like they're gonna go and challenge it and just be like, dude, I have to go make money. Like, I'm gonna go shoot this video real quick.
No, like you literally, like, it's definitely, it's gonna hit that point where it's like people are gonna have to figure it out and adapt to kind of what can be done. Like if certain like rental houses aren't even open, or certain locations you can't even rent. And but like I have a buddy who they rent out their place, and they're like trying to figure out, well, do we just do one section of the house, or is it this? It's just like it's affecting everyone across the board in our industry. You
Right.
know?
It'd be interesting to hear from like Jacob Owens because he just bought all these rental properties for shoots.
Yeah.
And if it's halted, it's like, well, damn. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money you got to spend every month to keep that shit open. It's such a wild, what a weird, dude. This is we're living in a movie right now, bro. It's so surreal.
No, it is. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, we're actually living in like history. Like, you know, this is something that we will talk about forever.
Isn't
you know,
that crazy?
just from the fact of like, you know, Trump being president, the virus, like everything is like so surreal. And like I remember when they said Tom Hanks had it. It was just like, this is part of a freaking movie.
Yeah,
like it's just it's weird. And I think a lot of like stuff will come from this though, you know.
How so?
In a good way, creatively. I just feel like it's gonna force people to kind of expand their mind, you know.
Right.
Like whether it's, you know, finding stuff online or trying new things that you've never tried before.
Well, it's interesting too because I feel like a lot of businesses are going to come out of this. There's so many people that need to like completely shift the way they work, and that's what we talked a lot. I mean, so far with these interviews, it's like that's what a common thing has been. Like, how are you shifting the way you do your job? But I think as they shift, those will trickle. Even when we can go back to like interacting socially or whatever you want to call it. Like once we can all be together again, I still think that some of these elements are going to play into it. I've never seen you know, it's obvious that people have never gone live on Instagram or any streaming platform ever until now. Like this, the way they're doing it, like everybody's doing it.
There's concerts now, like
concerts, bro.
Yeah,
it's insane. I saw. Do you watch Tory Lanez? His is my favorite.
His has been good, funny. Yeah.
But he had like 90,000 people in his stream at one point, and he's promoting his record through that. And it was like a low lift, didn't cost him shit.
Yeah.
Except for his studio gear that he was using and tequila that he was drinking. That was it. And he just boomed his record.
Yeah.
But you recently cut the new Kygo music video.
Yeah.
Was that one of the like last projects that you had to cut?
Yeah, we that got delivered last week and then put out, you know, last week as well. So yeah.
On your birthday?
Yo, my
That's
birthday.
tight. Happy birthday, bro.
Thank you.
How'd it feel to have a quarantine birthday?
Not too bad, I guess. You know, it's just like I don't know, I'm just kind of used to being indoors. Like that meme that's going around where it's like editors in real life.
Yeah, nothing
editors
changed.
in quarantine. It's like, you know, I'm very used to working
from
home and stuff like that, but I definitely have like, it's hit me to where I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
I know, dude. I feel that. Or just be like, I miss the gym. Like, I never thought I'd be that person, but goddamn, like my body aches from just sitting all day. It's like so annoying. So it's Kygo, Tyga. Who else was on that song?
And Zara Larsson.
She's
a singer.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So how did, like, can we kind of dive into that project a bit? Like, how did you get brought onto that? Was that Under Wonder?
No, usually for my editing jobs, it comes from all different productions, and, you know, I get hit up through emails or, you know, DMs or phone calls, or, you know, it varies. And with that one, you know, I got an email one day where it's like, hey, I just shot this project. It was from the producer, and he was like, I just had this project done. It's, you know, he listed off who it was and XYZ and kind of like the, you know, timetables and stuff like that. And, you know, from there, got on the phone, talked to him and the director, picked up the hard drive, met with him in person, and then started, you know. So it's like,
with that for you, has it, because you have your editing choices are nuts. You always do like the illest shit editing, by the way.
Thank you.
It's always sick. So you're always pushing the limit for it. But when people like that see your work or are recommended to you, are they kind of giving you free reign? Like, yo, we know what your style is. This is kind of what we're going for, but let's see what you do with it. Or
it's varied with every project.
Yeah.
I think the funniest thing of it is like, yeah, they'll be like, just do you. And then like, they'll come back with all these crazy notes, you know, and it's like, well, you told me to do me, you know? So like, it is kind of funny, but it's also, I've grown to just understand, like, you know, it's a collaboration at the end of the day, obviously. And I want to make sure that the director's happy and like everyone's, you know, happy with the product and the artist and, you know, label, everybody. So yeah, it's varied. I mean, this last project, the reference ironically was I Think I'm Okay, that they
Oh, really?
they were like, that edit was sick, like, you know, we knew you'd be it. And
Damn.
but then if you look at the Kygo video, it's definitely more clean cut, cinematic. Oh, that was my chair. Not fart.
Yeah, gonna let it slide this time, bud.
But no, with this one, it was more, you know, cinematic, let the shots breathe, stuff like that, which is also fun too, because it forces me out of my comfort zone, because I am more of a quick cut person. But
Right, and it kind of felt like it kind of feels like an editorial, like fashion, the way they shot it, which I feel like if you try to make it kind of too quick, it throws it off.
Yeah. It was definitely more of in that world of like fashion and more of a, I guess not beauty, but
kind of in that.
Yeah.
What? So what did you edit this on?
Just Premiere.
You edit on your laptop?
Yeah.
Nice. So it can be done, people. When you get to the top, you can still keep cutting on your computer. I've been beating the hell out of mine on this. Like,
I need a new computer, but you know. Stupid coronavirus.
I know. I'm like, I spilled like a apple juice or something when we were in Miami. Spilled apple juice all over my keyboard, and it's been fucked since. Like like I think I texted you earlier, and it was just all one long word, but it was like 4 words put together. The space bar won't work, and it's driving me fucking nuts.
I don't. So I have a monitor, and then I have like the Bluetooth keyboard and like stuff.
Yeah.
Mouse. I can't think
of
what it's called. But yeah, I usually do it like that. So it's like mentally, I'm like not even on a laptop.
Right.
Does yours overheat? It depends on what I'm doing. Also, like more of like the projects that require more like VFX or like effects in general. I'll go over to Danny.
Yeah.
I'll go over to his house, and he has like a brand new Mac that he lets me use and stuff like that. Dope. So I kind of work out of there in Culver. And stuff like that. So that's super helpful. I make proxies there and do all sorts of, high render stuff.
What's their house called? It's like a creative collective, right?
Dojo House.
The Dojo House, right. I met all those dudes when we were in Miami.
Yeah.
That was dope. Those guys are really nice.
Yeah.
So when you're cutting this, like how many revisions do you feel like you guys went back and forth? Are you laying out the land of like, here's all the space or here's all the scenes and kind of piecing it together, and then they're giving notes, or what? How's the process work for you guys?
Yeah, I've definitely learned with like edits to get as much information as I can in the beginning. So like if they have like certain shots that they want to be time coded, or if it fits, like if it fits in a certain part, or if don't use any of these, or, don't use the roof, or, just like I try to get as much information as I possibly can. So that way when I go in and do the edit, the first round that I send, I usually always try to send to the director before we send to the label.
Right.
So if we send to the label on like Tuesday, I try to get it to them on like Monday or Sunday, so we have time to kind of perfect it how they want. And that bleeds into kind of like how many rough cuts there ends up being. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it allows for a better product that everyone, I think at the end of the day, is happy with. And with this project in particular, we got really lucky that after the first round, they only had 2 notes for the entire video.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great. I mean, my streak's been high, but I've also had a couple that have
taken
gone on
30.
for
Oh my
so
God.
I can't say that like I'm knock it out of the park every time. But when you do, the Tokyo one, I had no notes on.
No notes
except Disney. They were like they're signed to Virgin over in UK, and then Disney in America. And Disney was like, "Can you just add 1 shot?" And I was like, "Yes, Disney, I can."
Sure, drag and drop.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, it's always nice when you get that back. And
right, I know that's the illest feeling.
Oh, it feels great. Yeah.
So when you start an edit, I'm curious, what's like your beginning process for trying to get you in a vibe to cut? Like, is it just really listening to a song over and over again, trying to find like a shot that is like a fire way to start the edit? Like, what's your approach?
I typically just lay down, like if it's a performance video or storyline, I try to just build out the performance takes. So I'll take all the performance takes, line them up, and then trim them all down, and and then I'll take storyline. If they want it to be heavier on storyline, I try to obviously in the actual timeline build the storyline in parts, and then I find the best performance takes to kind of fill the gaps.
Nice.
So it varies project to project, but I usually just jump right in and get going, because with new projects or edits, you know, it's fresh, it's exciting, and you know, the longer the process goes, the harder it is to obviously keep doing something no matter what it is, you know? And so the quicker I think you can get it done, one, it makes them happy, and two, it just, I feel like, makes for a better process.
Right. Well, it makes it smoother too, and just I feel like when you linger on something for too long or you overanalyze it, you just start beating yourself up for no reason.
Yeah, the biggest thing is like when a project actually has like deadlines and dates where things are due. It's such a blessing, because things that I've found where it's like if projects don't have deadlines, or if you don't establish those, they drag it out, right? Because they know they have time. You know, and they do nitpick things and pick it apart, and it can become a little frustrating for sure. Yeah,
on both sides. So what are some of the things that you've been doing? I've been starting to ask everybody on this segment or whatever, quarantine and chill. What's some ways that you've been like killing time outside of work? Like, what are some things that you've been doing? Do you have any books you've been reading or movies you've been watching? Like anything you could suggest to the peeps out there bored as fuck?
I've been catching up on my master classes.
Are you? Andrew's been doing master class too.
Yeah. It was
Which
ironic.
ones are you watching?
I watched the Spike Lee one. I've seen the Martin Scorsese one, the Ron Howard, David Lynch.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to start. He posted the Judd Apatow one the other day. I've been wanting to start that one as well. But
what do you feel like you're pulling away from having watched? Because masterclass, for anyone who doesn't understand that, it's like pretty affordable for. I mean, used to be more expensive.
It's like $150 for the whole year or something like that, and you get every class. Like
that's insane.
You could take 10 classes at once, or courses, or whatever you want to call them, and like it's really cool because a lot of the information that's given on there, you're not going to find anywhere else, you know? Like for the Ron Howard one, he's literally teaching you how to block.
Right.
Like he's like out in the field, like showing you, okay, place this person here, place this here. All right, now make sure you, like, so it's pretty valuable in that, to where, you know, I'm a visual person, and I know you probably are too. Yeah. Everyone in this is very visual learner. And I've even been watching like behind the scenes, or like, you know, like the B-roll takes that they have on set.
Right.
Like the other day I was just sitting there watching Wolf of Wall Street, whereas like behind the scenes, like BTS,
to where show it's you like how the camera flew over all the desks and everything.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not the most exciting thing, but it's also like, if you're interested in that, then it is, you know. And
hands down.
I enjoy watching all that stuff, because you definitely learn. You can pull pieces from it and stuff like that. But,
so you're spending most of the time just focused on education. I feel like this is
just trying to learn, and then, you know, of course, finish up any TV series and stuff like that. I've been watching Dave.
Dude, I think new episode comes out tonight. That show is fucking dialed.
It's so accurate too, though, right?
It's like for real accurate. Like, you've hung around him, right?
No, but like,
really?
No, I've never actually met him.
Oh damn! I figured you guys would at some point. Kels would.
But I just feel like you and me in particular have had those experiences he has had.
It's straight up exactly like that and shit. Yeah. But like, and then also because I did that EA job with him forever ago, and we did like a bunch of comedy sets. So me and him would edit a bunch, and he is that person. Yeah. In real life, and it's like so funny to watch it, but also just the fact that the dude Gata is like his fucking that's his real DJ, and that they're not actors, but they're actors in this, and they're killing it. You know what I mean? Like, that's a great show. Everyone needs to check that out and support that shit, because it's big time. Bro, I appreciate this. I know it's last minute, and you're always down for the cause, so thank you. Anything else we want to leave the people? Obviously, I'll put social links and shit in the description.
Just everybody stay safe. Keep educating yourself, and we'll get through this.
That's facts. Do you have a project? Anything else dropping after the?
This one? Not really. I might have a potential small scale shoot, but you know.
Right. We'll see. All right. Cool. All right. Stay safe, homie. Appreciate you.
Peace.
That's it for another Quarantine and Chill episode. 2 weeks in a row, we did it. I'm excited for next week. We got some great guests lined up. Thank you for listening. Subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. Follow us on Instagram at Black with No Cream. Send us a screenshot if you're listening to this podcast episode. If you found it useful, drop a comment in the YouTube section per requested from your boy, Ben. I don't know. We're just kind of winging it and trying to make sure that we give you guys the best content we can during this epidemic or pandemic or whatever you call it now. And hope you guys are staying healthy. Stay inside. Stay the fuck inside, okay? Listen to the rules. And check on your neighbors. If you got an old neighbor or whatever, check on them and see if you can help them order some food or go grab groceries for them or whatever you can to support them. Whatever the CDC and the government says, just follow that, I guess. All right. We love y'all. Stay safe. See you next week, you bitch.